Right, hello, welcome back to another video. Excuse the hat, my hair's getting a bit out of control at this point. Yeah, it's been a while since my last video, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've been wanting to do like an entire MCU review video, but I really couldn't be bothered making two more of them huge review videos. So apparently, since tier lists on our thing, we're gonna be doing an MCU tier list. So fasten your seatbelts because it's gonna be a mad one, as you can probably tell. So yeah, let's get straight into Jack's amazing MCU tier list. Let's go. So yeah, I'll walk you through the tiers. So we've got God tier. This is films that just can't be beaten. These are like top tier, absolute best MCU films. Under that, we've got very good. These are some films that can't top God tier. They're not quite there, but they're still better than the other three. So yeah. The next one's okay. It's, you know, it's alright. You can watch it again now and then. It's quite enjoyable. Jesus, I don't know whether you can hear that camera focusing on that. Turn that off, bloody hell. Then under this, we've got meh. Now this is arguably the worst one because it doesn't make you feel good or bad. It just makes you sort of feel dead inside. Then under that, we've got trash. These are like bottom tier, garbage, terrible movie, so you never ever want the misfortune of watching again. It's misfortune, isn't it? So yeah, let's start off. We're gonna go in film order. So I think first was Iron Man. Obviously, this is gonna I'm gonna put this very good. It's not quite God tier yet, I don't think. It's like the final battle sort of killed it for me. It was like the film was great up until the third act, but then it sort of went a bit downhill. Like it was just two huge CGI robots fighting, really. So yeah, Iron Man is going in very good. So after watching this film, you know, and if you want to watch the MCU in order, you've got this film. Yeah, it's quite good. You wanna know what's next? Maybe it'll be best. Yeah, it's Hulk. That's going in trash. Honestly, I watched this film like a few weeks ago, and let's just say I fell asleep through it. I fell asleep in a superhero film. It's like falling asleep in the Battle of the Somme. Nah, it's naff. It's terrible. I'll put that at bottom tier, really. I don't think I'll ever watch that film again. Like, honestly, I think it may well have been one of the worst superhero films I've ever seen. And trust me, there are a few. So yeah, next up we've got Iron Man 2, I believe. This film, I don't know whether I want to put it okay or meh, because it was entertaining. Like, I did have fun watching it. Like, I watched the entire Iron Man trilogy back to back like a few weeks ago because they're all on Disney Plus, so I just decided to sit through them again because I hadn't seen them in a while. And it's alright. Like, it's not bad. It's not awful. So, you know, I'm gonna put it okay. It's not awful. I could watch it again. Let's just say that. It's lighthearted, I think. Like, it took itself seriously, but then there were enough stuff to laugh at, I reckon. So yeah, next up we've got Thor. Now, I haven't actually seen this film in its entirety, I don't think. I think I might have switched it off halfway through, which is a bit of an implication. Like, I think I might put this in either meh or trash, because it wasn't as bad as The Incredible Hulk, I don't think. So I'm gonna shove it in meh. It wasn't awful. The Dutch angles like properly killed us. Like Kenneth Branagh, I think he was the director, wasn't he? He tried to make it so that it was more of a comic book feel, and it didn't go well. It just made it look messy. I didn't enjoy it, and it was boring. Like, it just was pretty naff. Just put it in there. Go, what was after that? Oh, the Avengers Assemble. I'm gonna say that in God tier. I think we've got our first God tier of the video. I remember going to see this film as a kid, and it was incredible. Like, really loved this film because I didn't see Iron Man. I didn't watch Iron Man, Hulk, or I forgot Captain America. I forgot that bloke. Sorry. Yeah, I remember going to see that film and it was just great. Like, them all together was class. Like, I properly enjoyed that film, and I went back and watched it like I think it was about a week ago now. I went back and watched it and realized how properly enjoyable it actually was. It's just a proper good film. Like, I feel like the jokes were a bit overused. Well, not overused. They were used quite a bit. They were quite odd jokes as well. Like, it was like that superhero humor that I mentioned back in the other video. It was confusing banter, and it was weird. I'll say that. It was weird, but obviously you had to get the feel for an Avengers film. So, I mean, I stick that in God tier. I did properly enjoy that film. Let's do Captain America since I forgot about him. I think that might be a statement. This film was pretty forgettable. I watched it and I enjoyed it. It was okay. It was like the majority of the film was pointless action, I reckon. But it was like it was a good film. I don't want to say it was bad. It wasn't bad. Thing is, with some of the earlier MCU films, they didn't have that sort of spark I reckon it was Guardians that kicked it off. It didn't have that proper spark of a Marvel film yet, because they had to live up to the expectations of like Spider-Man and The Dark Knight, and they were both like quite dull, not dull, but like dark films. They weren't as colourful and as exciting as like some of the future Marvel films. They had a lot to live up to, so I think they tried to stick as close to The Dark Knight and to Spider-Man as they possibly could. And that's why some of these films were quite, it was color, the whole color correction was like, the colors were a bit sort of dulled down, make it seem gritty and serious and stuff like that. Like the films were a testament at the time. But since Guardians, I feel like that sort of kicked off the whole Marvel stigma of a film. So I reckon Captain America is going in okay, because it wasn't bad. I don't want to say it was bad because it wasn't. Anyway, after this we've got Iron Man 3. Now I really don't understand the hate for this film that people have. Is it like, I don't know whether it's like the change that they made to the Mandarin or something. Oh, he's not the same as he was in the comics. Oh, grow up, Totter. No, it was a good film. Like, it was a bit lighthearted after the Avengers. I think I mentioned this in my MCU part, like the phase 3 MCU video. I mentioned that they had this sort of formula where after huge films they had these like more lighthearted ones, like Ant-Man and that, and this was one of them. So I reckon this film goes in very good, because I did enjoy the film. Like, it wasn't huge dumb robots fighting each other. It was like, it actually had it had a story and an arc for Tony Stark that I don't think he'd had properly since Iron Man. And obviously that was only a few films before that, but like, I liked how for half the film he didn't have his suit, because I feel like that was a bit of a safety net in the past few films. Like, the suit saved him in numerous occasions in these films. And I feel like taking the suit away from him and making him make these improvised weapons and stuff, that's what gave Iron Man 3 like a proper character compared to the other Iron Man films. Like, one of the scenes I really liked in this film was the one where he had to fight the woman in the diner when he didn't have a suit and he was handcuffed, and he just had to use his own like ingenuity to fight them. And I think what happened was he put some metal in a microwave, and then the microwave set fire to oil or something, and then the whole place just blew up. Like, that's Tony Stark doing, that's not Iron Man, that's Tony Stark doing that. So I reckon this film goes in very good. I do reckon this film, I reckon it was, no, actually, I don't know, I don't think it was on par with Iron Man. I think I'm going to put it okay. Then I might put Iron Man 2 down to meh. So next up is Thor the Dark World. I actually haven't seen this film. Yeah, this is the only one I haven't seen, I think. I've got no intention of watching it because I've heard that people have said that it's bad. So I was actually quite surprised by that. But Thor 2 goes in trash, even though I haven't seen it. I'll watch it. I promise I'll watch it. So next up is Winter Soldier. Now, I actually did properly enjoy this film. Like, it didn't feel like a Marvel film. It felt like a Bourne Identity film, I reckon. It felt like a spy thing, like the whole Nazis infiltrating the government and that was like, it was a breath of fresh air. It'd never been really seen in a Marvel film before, I reckon. Plus, it was properly enjoyable. Like, the filming techniques were really cool. Like, lots of the fights felt really handheld, like they were filming just like that. And that's what I liked. Like, do you know the knife fight where it was like in the, I think it was like the middle of the film, it was the knife fight between Steve Rogers and the Winter Soldier. That part I properly liked. So I don't know, I might stick this, I'm gonna stick this in. It was very good. It was very good. People are gonna hate us for putting it the same as Iron Man, but it's my list. Go, Winter Soldier, what next? Ooh, Guardians of the Galaxy. This was a class film. You already know it's going in God tier. It actually was as well. Like, it was such a good film. This was what kicked off like the exciting, colourful, vibrant Marvel feeling I felt. Like, since then, a lot of the films have been really action-packed but funny at the same time. Like, they've managed to maintain a certain amount of humour, but not make it overly comedic, if you know what I mean. It was different. So yeah, I'm sticking it in God tier. I did enjoy that film quite a bit. So yeah, next up's Age of Ultron. Now, I'm going to put this in okay. Let us explain. I did actually enjoy this film quite a bit. I know people were saying that it was weird and it was bad because it didn't live up to the first Avengers film, but I feel like the majority of MCU films didn't. Like, nothing's gonna live up to the original Avengers, I don't think, because it was so new. I had nothing like that had ever happened before, so I feel like something trying to live up to the Avengers is like something pretty impossible. I don't reckon it can be done. I feel like they managed to do it in Infinity War, but like Age of Ultron was okay. Like it set up quite a bit for the future films, I reckon. But I still did enjoy it. It was similar to Iron Man 2. It wasn't great, but I still enjoyed it. Next up's Ant-Man. I think that's in the same boat. I think I'm sticking that in okay as well, because it was just a bit of a light-hearted sort of breath of fresh air since like the gritty Age of Ultron film. Like it was a man who shrinks like steel and stuff. Obviously it was like films above it are leaps and bounds above it, but like it was still good. I like the fight with Falcon, like halfway through it. I thought that was great. Plus I think Hank Pym was really cool, and I like the sort of recruitment he did for Scott Lang. So yeah, it's going in okay. It wasn't bad. So yeah, next up Civil War. It's going in meh, I reckon. You've already heard my my opinions on Civil War. All these next ones I've made a video on. Civil War was just a bit dumb. It felt out of place. I don't reckon it should have been made then. I feel like it would probably make more sense to do it after Endgame. In fact, I thought that before Endgame came up, but after the circumstances of Endgame, it probably wouldn't make sense. The premise of it would, like the Avengers falling out with each other, but obviously Iron Man and Natasha and all them, they wouldn't be able to be in the film because they would dead. But I feel like since Thanos is like the main bad guy, the main villain, he's gone now, and I feel like any threat sort of, it's small fry for the Avengers now. Like they've beat Thanos, so the only proper enemy they've got is each other. And I feel like they probably could have done something with like maybe the Avengers remaining and the Thunderbolts. I feel like that would be a good Civil War film. People are going to hear me putting this less than Iron Man 3, but yeah, this is my list, not yours. Make your own. Right, next up's Doctor Strange. I think, yeah, I did actually enjoy this film. I'm going to stick it in okay. I explained everything I needed to in that video that I made a while ago. It was lighthearted, it was funny, but it still sort of had that serious Marvel tone to it. Plus the cinematography and the camera effects and the editing were just absolutely spot on. It was like Inception level crazy, I reckon. So yeah, it's going okay solely for the reason I probably enjoyed the like film aspect of it and not the story aspect of it. Next is Guardians Volume 2. Now I feel like that's... where is it? I feel like that's one below Guardians. I feel like it tried too hard to live up to Guardians. I felt like there was too much going on at the same time. There was about 3 films going on in one. I felt like they probably could have split some of the side plots and maybe made that like the Guardians 3 film. But yeah, it was alright. It wasn't bad. It was alright. I feel like I've said that for the majority of this. Yeah, it's alright. But yeah, it does go higher than like the okay. It's better than Doctor Strange and Age of Ultron, but it wasn't as good as the original Guardians, so the only place I can put it's very good. Next up, Spider-Man Homecoming. Now I'm sticking that at the top. All the Raimi stans are going to be angry at us in the bloody comments. And honestly, you can sling your hook. I don't want to say I don't like the Raimi films. I don't enjoy them as much as the MCU Spider-Man films. Plus, I feel like the only reason people like the Raimi films that much is because they are old and they were the original ones. Like, honestly, I really couldn't care less if this was the first version of Spider-Man, the third version of Spider-Man, or the 25th. It's still a good film. Tom Holland did a really good job with the role, and it didn't really feel like a Marvel movie properly. It felt sort of like a summer comedy featuring Spider-Man, if you know what I mean. But I do feel like something wrong with this, well, not wrong, but something that have been like a constant thing in Spider-Man in the MCU is that he relies way too much on Tony Stark. And I hope that I hope that he's less reliant in the third one. Homecoming and Far From Home sort of felt, I don't know, it felt like Iron Man was sort of a security blanket, because obviously he had like Iron Man overwatching him in the Spider-Man Homecoming, and then he had the Edith glasses in the Far From Home film. But I do reckon it was like a top quality Marvel film, like it was up there with some of the best ones, so I'm sticking it in God tier. Next up's Thor Ragnarok. Now I'm going to put this in okay. No, actually no, I'm going to put it in very good, because it was actually a very good film. The only reason it's not God tier is that I don't feel like it competes with them 3. It was a good film, and it was a good sort of, I don't want to say reboot, it was a good sort of change in direction for the Thor films, I reckon. If Thor 4 is anything like that, then I feel like it will be really good. It'll be up there. But I didn't like the Asgard stuff, and I didn't like the Hela stuff. I feel like a film just Thor, like going through space, fighting aliens, would have been a brilliant film. Just imagine Thor and Hulk soaring through the universe, battling aliens and giants and monsters and that. It would be so fun, but it wouldn't be a Marvel film. So I mean, it's going in very good because it was actually quite a good film. Next up, we've got Black Panther. Now, you know how I feel about Black Panther. I'm going to stick it in meh because it was like completely and utterly pointless, but it wasn't trash. Like, some of the cinematography stuff was great. Like, I like the world building in Wakanda and stuff and all that, but some scenes could have been trimmed, and definitely one scene could have been polished. I think like the final battle could have been definitely polished up a little bit, because it looked like I was playing Marvel versus Capcom. Like, it was, honestly, I've seen better CGI in, like, I don't know, in proper low budget films, and this was a very high budget film. So I feel like if they spent less money putting in licensed music and focused more on the film, then it would have rewarded it a bit better, and the final battle would have been actually alright. Because Killmonger was like the perfect Marvel villain, I feel like. Him and Thanos were up there. Like, I think they're the best two villains we've had in a Marvel film. Next up's Infinity War. Now, I'm sticking this obviously up in God tier because it was just great. Like, that and Endgame in a pair is just like the perfect end to the Infinity Saga, I feel like. I've never been left on more of a cliffhanger than watching the Avengers get beaten with, like, Tony Stark and that, like, millions of miles across space. Plus, I rewatched that film about 4 times as well, so yeah, it's going up in God tier. Next to Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, that film's going in meh for the sole reason that I'd never ever want to watch it again. It was an alright film, but I seriously couldn't sit through it again. It was good to keep me hooked between Infinity War and Endgame, but Endgame's out now, so the film's been made completely redundant. Like, there's no need to watch it again. I mean, if it's on the TV and there's nothing else to watch, then I'll probably stick it on, but I won't dedicate time to watch this film, if you know what I mean. Next up's Captain Marvel, and I'm sticking that in trash. You already know how I feel about that film. It was just, the acting was poor, the story was weird, I didn't get it. Like, the story was weak, like, it didn't explain it to a new Marvel fan like me. The thing with all these other films is that I've got a rough idea about, like, what each character sort of goes for and what his motives are. Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, like, I didn't know a single thing about that story, but I watched that film and now I know quite a lot about the characters. That was a film that brought me directly into a story, but Captain Marvel did it in a really bad way. I didn't enjoy that film. I wouldn't sit through it again. Anyway, next is Endgame. Now, you obviously know where I'm putting this. It's going right up in God tier. This film was like the perfect end to the Infinity Saga. Like, everything coming together at the end was great. The pacing wasn't really that bad. I feel like there were some parts that could have probably trimmed out, but the majority of the scenes in this film were important to it, so I feel like it was cut well. The final piece was great. Plus, it's one of the best, like, cinema experiences I've ever had in my life. It didn't feel like a 3-hour film whatsoever. So yeah, it's going in God tier, obviously. And then Far From Home is the last one, and that's going in God tier as well. Them two were actually properly enjoyable, and it was actually weird that 2 great Marvel films came out back to back. Like, Far From Home was a bit of a fresh take on Spider-Man. Like, it wasn't in New York. Like, literally every other Spider-Man film has been in New York or, like, that sort of area. So bringing him out of his comfort zone and bringing him, like, halfway across the world, it's all made it so that he had to adapt. Like, that was the theme of the film, was just adapting to change. Tony Stark's gone. The Avengers couldn't look out for them. He had to, like, learn to look out for himself. And being across the world, like, it made it so that nothing was familiar to him. Yeah, it was a good film. I've watched that film, I think, twice now, and both times I enjoyed it. So, yeah, that's my tier list. I've got Avengers Assemble, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man Homecoming, Infinity War Endgame, and Far From Home. In the God tier, I've got Iron Man, Winter Soldier, Guardians 2, and Ragnarok, and very good. I've got the first Avenger, Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, and Doctor Strange in okay. I've got Thor, Iron Man 2, Civil War, Black Panther, and Ant-Man and the Wasp in meh, and Hulk, Thor 2, and Captain Marvel in trash. Yeah, I'll leave the link to this if you want to go and do your own tier list. Please don't be mean in the comments. These are literally just my opinions on the films. I sort of wanted to change it up a little bit for this video. I wanted to sort of sit down in front of a camera and film it. So if you want to see more videos in this sort of format, then leave the like. I feel like the past 2 videos that I've done, I feel like the Axum one and this one have been quite good. I have got some new ideas for videos in this notepad here, so I will be making a few more videos soon. Being in lockdown is difficult as well because I have to keep up on work during the day as well, so I can't just edit a video for an entire day or anything. I need to keep up on schoolwork. Yeah, hopefully this is all done soon. I really can't wait to get out of lockdown, man. But we have got some new ideas for Weird Bros videos pretty soon as well. I hope you did enjoy the Minecraft one that we just did. Go and sub the Weird Bros actually. So yeah, nice one. OBS stopped recording, but I basically just said thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button and like the video, and join my Discord server. It's linked in the description, and sub the Weird Bros on that. Yeah, wash your hands.